Jürgen, thank you for your kind introduction. Good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to see that so many people are interested in retrofitting lamps, so converting and retrofitting. So it's a big topic for us, and I'd like to tell you a bit more about retrofitting, technical parameters, and much more. I am working on this topic from the point of view of sustainability, of course. Retrofitting and sustainability, as we just heard, it's a very technical topic. But if we talk about it, if we think about the materials, how can we keep them? How can we use them? So it does make sense to say the ceiling and the ceiling design can be kept. And if we add something, if we say this makes it usable, this tall insulation, it'll be great. You know the graph from the previous speaker, it is one of the graphs. That is one of the major motivations for us. We'd love to show you the lamps that we once sold, once offered, and we'd love to operate them and offer replacement. It's not possible because they are no longer available. So what are we doing? Looking for something else. And now we look at a couple of law texts, legal texts. So if you need a replacement, what does it mean for us? First of all, as I just said, due to sustainability reasons, we want to minimize waste. Of course, no waste. So if we have a ceiling, electrical ceiling, and we have to throw away things, it would be much better to keep the metal and use it. CO2 reduction is a big topic. If we use the products, we have the opportunity to say, let's reduce the CO2 footprint if we do it right. And the next topic is, as a part of biodiversity and resources, we have access to materials. We have a big motivation to keep using resources that you'll find in a building. We don't want to use a lamp case and replace it by a similar one. If we can use it, if we can keep it, it makes a lot of sense. So we're wondering about the parameters. How about CO2 reduction? What is possible? This is a lamp. As an example, we used it in 1990, in the 1990s. It doesn't mean that you sold it in 1990. You sold it, you had it in your catalog up to the year 2000 maybe. So there is a light efficiency of maybe 40 lumen per watt. At the time, you talked about a lamp, about an operational degree or an LOR. If you multiplied it, you suddenly had 11.40 lumen per watt for a high-quality lamp that was good. Today, 120 lumen per watt per lamp is nothing new. It's not even innovative. It's easy. So the CO2 footprint of your company, of your operation, can be reduced by a factor 3. So this is a lamp that has 140 lumen per watt. You have to see whether it fits your purpose. And if I'd like to retrofit it, I would like to achieve exactly this. So for the retrofitting, what are my goals? How far would I like to go? Maybe it makes sense today to keep it operational for a time X, because in 3-4 years' time, I can change for operational reasons. But today, maybe today, you say it is reasonable, it makes sense because we live up, we comply with the standards to do the right step towards this direction and do not only reach the maximum point of efficiency. If you look at it, the savings potential that we have on the basis of sustainability is immense. We have this CO2 footprint for lighting 22.4.9 million. So at the moment, I said 22.49 million tons You reduce it if you want to by a factor of 3. 8 million tons would be sufficient. We would be fit for the future if we only wanted to. That's a potential for sustainability from a different point of view. So we can say, if we commit ourselves to the goals for sustainability, we should do something. We should use the potentials and we should say, let's retrofit it. What would it mean for you? You reduce your energy bills by the same factor. CO2 saved also means electricity costs saved by the same factor. You reduce your operational costs. I wanted to show you the graph, but the lifetime is higher. So very few better maintenance cycle, fewer working hours for your service staff. In facility management, we have very few expert colleagues, so difficult to find experts in facility management, and you use them less. How about retrofitting? When would we do it? My first question was, how about the current solution? Do you like it? Are you happy with it? If you're not happy today, question is, what can you do to make you happy in the future? And there are different options. Maybe you say that's the efficiency criteria. The footprint of my plant is too high, and I can say, welcome, we have a good solution for you, let's get going. And then if you say the scattering, the distribution of light, or the design of the ceiling, I don't like it anymore, that's a different case. So if you retrofit the ceiling, the trend is to say, let's think about it. What is a long-term solution? Do we use existing lamps or not? That's what we do. We have many options to go on using the existing lamps. But if you want to do a complete retrofit or renovation, you can also make good use of maximum CO2 footprints and maximum energy reduction and cost savings. Different types of retrofitting. Retrofit, for instance. A retrofit lamp is an option. If the temperature, it's in a good range temperature-wise, it's a good solution for the next time. So you keep your installation, your plant operational, and you reduce your CO2 footprint by a factor 2. Conversion lamps. That means more work. So the lamp as such requires some changing, some new wiring, requires some work, but can have the same effects or even better. We are more specific when we talk about retrofitting kits. A retrofitting kit or conversion kit means that you have a very constant scattering and distribution of light. So that'll be the highest CO2 reduction. So you have the same scattering and have the lowest energy from your network. That's the universal set. We have universal conversion kits, of course, also conversion kits for special lamps. In our case, Erco, it's like a vertical lighting where you need a more specific retrofitting kit as opposed to a universal one. But one has to clarify it. Framework conditions are always the same. Please say that we talk about lamps. In our example, lamps from 1990, they are in operation for 35 years. That's a long time for a lamp. That doesn't mean that it's too old automatically. Maybe it's good for another 35 years, but also the 35 years might have left their marks. Please double check. Where is the limit? Do you have a lamp in front of your private sauna at home? So the environment in your private sauna is more difficult, more demanding than your living room. So give it a closer look whether it's still fit for purpose, even if you have the same lamp in your living room, because it was in the living room. It's just a better, easier environment. That depends on where you use a lamp, where you use the device, of course. The same lamp in a different environment is maybe not good to go anymore, as I said. If you do some retrofitting, we have some framework conditions, which are the technical standards and specifications. Back in 1990, you had totally different requirements. In 1990, vertical strength, lighting strength, that was okay at the time. I'm not criticizing it, but today we have totally different rules, regulations. If you do some retrofit, please double check what is important for you. Exchanging a lamp, buying a new lamp, does not mean automatically that you comply with the new rules and guidelines. If you do a renovation of your building, please double check the current standards and technical specifications. And you might find yourself somewhere in the middle. So please check what is important for the workplaces in your building, for instance. Otherwise, it would mean that you have to do some rework, and that's what we don't want to do. We want to prevent you from doing some rework. How about the useful life of your lamp or lighting sources? You can buy something today that is fit for usage for the next 35 years, maybe. From 1990 to today, that sounds good. But if you say this investment, I need investment safety, like 1,000 operating hours per year, that sounds like a very good solution. But if you have operating hours that are much higher, up to 8,760, which is like running at full time, we say that we have 1,000 hours of useful life in 10 years. So be careful if you choose something. Be careful when you think about the life cycle, the offered life cycle, because only you know your application best. Maybe 35,000 hours is good for you, but maybe you're somewhere in between for the investment safety. So what you need is a longer life cycle, a longer useful life. Retrofitting can be easy. I don't want you to be super skeptical. It can be very easy, can be complex too. So we have the experts, industry experts. Please contact them and they will offer a solution to you. Maybe some of you, some contact partners have a preference because it worked well. Maybe you need a second opinion. I always tell people, come up with a second opinion. You might have a retrofit solution where you have something that will make life easier for you. When is a retrofit very difficult or complex? It's pretty simple. If you have very old lamps, do you still have the big light sources, the luminance? It's more difficult than using the 16mm lamps that I just mentioned. They are more topical, more current. Depends on how old it is, how well established it is when you started to build it. It is just one parameter. The second thing is, today and in the past, we had solutions for manufacturers, and people just are not aware of it. They're not very well known, or they have changed their companies' names. If you want to contact them, it's pretty difficult to come up with a statement for retrofitting, if you can find it at all. Or maybe we have manufacturers who say, retrofitting my lamp, that's not possible. Maybe you did some temperature measurements and you say, electrically speaking, no safe operation anymore. That makes things difficult. It doesn't mean that it's not allowed to do it, but that means, as the other speaker has said before, please make sure that operations are done in electrical parameters that are safe to go. Think about a cooling ceiling. We talked about temperatures. We talked about a cooling ceiling. It is important to say, maybe we have these specific situations and that's the solution that we would like to have. But if the manufacturer says it's difficult, you have to take your time and effort to do it. People do contact us, public buildings, schools, a kindergarten, etc. We have a large number of solutions in the past. They were good in the past, but they have higher and more sophisticated requirements today. If I do some retrofitting, I have to look into it. Think about blue light, think about heating up, think about electrical security. Just look at it, especially if children are near and can touch it. Be very careful, check the wiring, check everything if children are not far or can maybe touch them or access them. If you have questions, and I think all manufacturers who are here are ready and have options. They can show you options, what you can do with this solution. It is important for me, for a sustainability aspect, please use the potential. It won't be better. Your installation won't be better. It won't improve. Solutions won't improve. It won't be cheaper in the long run either. So today, you will have this very attractive offer, and in the future, it won't get cheaper, won't get better. Just think about inflation and other topics. Think about scarcity of resources, scarcity of skilled employees. I see very little potential to reduce costs. Use this trade show, make good use of your days at the trade show. Get first ideas, get first offers and quotations. It will help you. Check it. That's my question. I'm pretty skeptical when it's about an application in my home, for instance. I'm always skeptical, but the potential is here. Think about your CO2 footprint. Think about energy costs. Everything's possible. And if you want to know more, the current journal licht.de is available. It's updated. I sent you the link. I copied the link. The first issue, the first volume is already here. So on your way home, you can read a little bit about it, learn about it. It is a very helpful documentation for retrofitting lamps. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your attention. It would be very nice to meet you at our light.de exhibition booth or at our Erco booth.